Hey guys, Cell here, and welcome back to some more Nikke, where I literally just recorded this first part and almost halfway through the second part of Redhood's story, and then I realized when I looked over that it wasn't actually recording. Man, I'm so glad I did not go all the way through before I did that. A campsite on the surface. My pounding heart keeps me from falling asleep. After tossing and turning, I give up and decide to get up. It's pitch black outside. I can barely make out to anything amongst the Stygian abyss around me. Can't sleep. A voice rings out from the darkness, giving me quite a scare. I turn in the direction of the voice, straining my eyes to make out anything in the darkness of the night. Hey, did you hear me? Slowly but surely my eyes become accustomed to the darkness. I can now vaguely make out a striking tinge of red in the moonless night. A Nikke clad entirely in red regards me. You okay? Redhood? That's my name, don't wear it out. You've been tossing and turning for a long time. So you're the type that can't sleep anywhere unfamiliar. Not exactly, just couldn't sleep, that's all. You're not exhausted after walking such a long way. You must be in good shape. What about the others? Still asleep, Dorothy went for a short walk. Don't worry about her though, she's not in any danger. She's always wandering off on her own. Want to sit in front of me? I move over and sit in front of Red Hood. An indistinct red blur is still all I can make out. Let's see here, how about we make a fire? Raptors could pick up the heat signals. Don't worry, I've got your back. Red Hood gathers some kindling and lights a small fire. Our immediate surroundings are now tinged with a fiery crimson hue. The flames also illuminate Red Hood's features. Much better, this really takes me back. When I was young, or maybe later on, at any rate, I used to camp a lot. I traveled all over the land, camping in every kind of place you can imagine. I believe you, after all. The goddesses distinguished themselves all the way back during the first Rapture invasion. So you've heard of us? Of course, who hasn't? You make it sound like we're famous. You are. In the Ark, the Goddess Squad is the stuff of legend. After all you've done for us, I'd wager most people in the Ark have heard your name as well as a majority of Nikke's. Are you being for real? Have they adapted our story into a movie or a book? Well, not yet. You see, I'd hardly say we're mythical figures. Information on individual members may be scant, but you're all renowned as a singular unit. What the? How long have you been awake? Just now, got woken up by all the noise. Sorry. Don't worry about it, it's actually pretty calming listening to your voice. As for the other one, you're about as shrill as a train whistle. Hey, I like my voice, thank you very much. Anyway, can you elaborate on what you just said? About us being famous as a team and all that. How should I put it? The Nikkes in the Goddess Squad are regarded as heroes who saved humanity from the Raptures. They are our guardian angels. That's why we should always be grateful and show them the proper degree of respect. Something like that. Goddess of Victory statues are all over the Ark and commemorations are held very often. But at the same time, no one knows who was in the Goddess Squad nor the specific actions they took to save us. In a sense, the Goddess Squad is more symbolic than anything. The lack of information even makes some people wonder if you all truly existed. But those with a shred of common sense in their hearts, you did amazing things. No, you did amazing things. So they were halfway to being legends, is more like it. In a way, I suppose yes. Everyone knows who you are, but no one knows the details of what actually transpired. Then how did you know I was a member of the Goddess Squad, handsome? I heard your name being bandied about quite often. What? She just said people don't know the details. How could? Oh, let me guess, Harapi. I know, I heard about you from the other goddesses. We've crossed paths with them a few times now. Snow White, Rapunzel, Scarlet, all of them. What? Gah.
What's happening?
Sorry, I just got freaked out for a second.
Huh? What shocked you? It's not gonna scare me too, will it?
I was just taken aback by the fact that you all knew Snow, Saintess, and Swordsman.
Who? She means Snow White, Rapunzel, and Scarlet.
Oh, them?
Yeah, we're like best buds, super tight. I don't know about that. We hang out with them way more than we do with other Nikkes, don't we? I guess you're right.
Are they doing okay?
They're doing fine. The last time we saw them.
Stop, you don't have to tell me. So you don't know our full story, do you? Alright, gather round, all of you. I'm gonna tell you just how amazing the goddesses were. Have any of you ever heard of the Grimm's models? A few times, yeah. But it doesn't sound like you're overly familiar with them now. Only names, nothing more. Well, they could almost be considered the first Nikkes.
Why almost? Were they literally the first batch?
Because the true prototype was someone else. I don't even know if it'd be appropriate to consider her Nikke, though. I feel you'd have to come up with another word to do her justice. Anyway, the Grimm's models are Nikkes produced using technology from that prototype. If it wasn't obvious enough from the name, the guiding theme for this series was fairy tales. Why fairy tales? I can't remember it exactly, but I seem to recall it having something with them like a fairy tale ending.
I'm lost. Fairy tales usually have happy endings, so maybe the scientist thought it'd be auspicious calling you guys that.
That would be my best guess. Anyway, the Grimm's models were produced with all kinds of different technologies, so it was difficult to find suitable candidates. But in the end, they managed to scrounge up enough to make a team. They can be considered more or less the original Nikkes. That team of Grimm's models is what we all know as the Goddess Squad. What do you think about that? Doesn't our origin story make us sound super cool? Original Nikkes, suitable candidates, all these great buzzwords that just ooze awesomeness.
What did you all do before the transformation?
Come again.
You said it was hard to find eligible candidates. What criteria did you have to meet?
I heard it was nothing special. Apparently you just had to meet all the physical requirements.
Wow, so you guys didn't really have too much in common.
Nope. We were all from all walks of life when we were humans. So unsurprisingly, we often got on each other's nerves at first. We'd argue about who was stronger, how to do things, whether to go left or right at a crossroads. We had conflicting views on just about everything, ranging from big to small. In our defense, we were often dealing with matters of life and death, so it sort of makes sense emotions were running high. Thanks to Boss and Lilith, though, we could usually push through. Still, I would never claim that we were on good terms with each other then. Eventually, a new member swordsman joined us.
How the heck did that come about? You mean Scarlet?
Yes, her. So Scarlet was the last to join. Yes, Lilith brought her in. From the very start, she was the real deal. She's not a Grimm's model, and Lilith brought her into the fold without telling us in advance.
Scarlet isn't a Grimm's model.
Nope. She was from a squad comprised of select mass-produced Nikkes who specialized in melee combat. She underwent a whole host of modifications, though, so by that point she could hardly be considered a mass-produced model.
Dang, I would have never expected that.
Anyway, her arrival only made the bickering amongst us worse. Just think about it, a sword user joining a squad where everyone else uses firearms. It's practically like adding fuel to the fire. Oddly enough, though, it was precisely at this time that everyone started to get along with each other.
Huh? Really?
I don't know which specific incident was the turning point, but everyone just started taking it easy on each other.
Out of the blue, for no discernible reason.
Yep. Actually, looking back on it, is it when you became corrupted that everyone started to, become more friendly with each other? Things seemed to improve markedly after we met a family of refugees on the way back from the battlefield. They all broke down and thanked us profusely, calling us mankind's last hope. The whole encounter only lasted for probably 20 seconds, 30 seconds tops. But if you ask me, that's where things started to change for us. It made us understand what we were doing, the difference that our actions could make, and who we were. Anyway, after that, the Goddess Squad became a more cohesive unit. From that moment on, we began to make big moves. And let me tell you, when I say big, I mean ginormous.
Well, go on then, tell us.
During the first Rapture invasion, the humans were completely outgunned. They were utterly defenseless. They poured all their manpower and resources into the war, but didn't manage to score even a single victory. It was a true age of despair, in every sense of the word. But then, out of that terrible anguish came a savior, or saviors rather. Before our involvement, raptors were regarded as an unstoppable force, something you couldn't possibly fend off. Everyone spent their days running, always running. They gave up all notion of fighting. But when we appeared, the tide began to turn. We started winning against the raptures, defeating an enemy that had once seemed invincible. Can you imagine how the people reacted to us then?
They probably lost their minds.
Completely. They showered us with fancy titles, the Goddess of Victory, mankind's last hope. Every time we strode into battle, victory was assured in totality. Upon our return, there were always hundreds and thousands of people lining the streets to welcome us. Sumptuous banquets, bouquets of flowers, celebratory music, heartfelt fan letters, excited handshakes, tender embraces, and tearful confessions of thanks. They all thanked us for fighting on humanity's behalf. That really felt nice.
But there was only a handful of you. No matter how strong each of you was, there's no way a few Nikkes could turn the entire war around.
Precisely. It didn't matter how impressive we were on the battlefield. There was no way we could wipe out all the raptors in the world. But all the same, our ability to beat the raptors reinstilled hope amongst the united forces of humanity, and gave them the courage to fight once again. They spared no expense investing in weapons designed to terminate raptures. They braced themselves for a deadly confrontation with their mortal enemy. A world that had been on the brink of giving up was now standing up and reigniting its struggle against this deadly foe. Yes, there were too few of us. And yes, it was unrealistic to expect to serve a role beyond that of an icon. But that was enough. As long as we lived, and as long as we were still winning, the people in this world would have the strength to fight another day. That's why we were called the Goddess of Victory.
You changed the world.
Oh, that's a good line. I'll have to remember that one.
It must have been very hard for you.
It was, because we had to win. Failure was not an option, not under any circumstance. So we fought with everything we had. But even then, I say you succeeded. You saved mankind and the entire world from the brink of destruction. Yeah, thanks. Ever since I became a Nikke, fighting is all I've ever known. It's the same story with the others as well. We had to kiss our hobbies goodbye, assembling models, going for a sunlit stroll with a parasol, reading, going fishing, listening to music. They all became things of the past. We fought for humanity with everything we had. Of that, there is no doubt. It was the only thing that occupied our time. It consumed us, and we all believed we were doing the right thing. History has proven that we were correct in feeling that way. So, I suppose we were happy then. I went from being a backstreet punk to an honorable warrior who fought for the masses I met all sorts of great people. Anyway, we were eventually assigned to take part in a defensive operation for the Ark. I only participated a bit in the initial stage, however, due to the personal reasons. Word is that the Ark is safe, is that true? Tell me more about it.
The Ark, well, first off, it's got a lot of people in it and it's super noisy. It's crowded even when there's nothing going on. It's way worse whenever an event is being held. You barely even have room to stand. That's why I've been practicing the throwing people over my shoulder. Huh. Seriously, that grown-up joke actually made you laugh. There's so many people around. You're always meeting interesting people. And from all walks of life, too. Generally speaking, I'd say people in the Ark live a decent life. People at least don't go hungry, which can't be said for the Outer Rim. There are buildings everywhere, with skyscrapers as far as the eye can see, and people go in and out of them. Oh, and there's a whole bunch of trains. It's fun riding the rails and letting your mind wander. But the best thing of all is the internet. It's blazing fast and you can do just about anything on it. You could spend all day inside and never get bored. Let's see, what else did I miss? Oh, food. There's an artificial food called Splendimin, which can be processed into all kinds of flavors. Opinions aren't a mix, but I personally love the stuff to death.
What about music?
There are lots and lots of singers, some of whom are Nikkes.
Wow.
So, I think it's fair to say that the Ark is a nice place.
Your friend over here seems to feel differently.
Me?
Yes, you.
Well,
come on. Tell me, how do you feel about the Ark?
I'd better not. I've got a nasty habit of talking too much.
It doesn't matter. I want to hear it.
Its infrastructure is remarkable. That much is true. Nikkes are assigned to handle all the dangerous jobs, so it's safe as well. But the humans who live there are just the worst. Honeys.
It's okay. Go on.
No one thinks about the future. All they do is waste time on frivolous. They spend their days aimlessly roaming the streets after getting rip-roaring drunk. They turn a blind eye to any crimes they witness. No one cares about their fellow man, and humility has long since gone out the window. They believe money is the cure for all problems. The coolest irony of all is that time and time again, reality has proven them correct. I see none of the positive aspect of human nature on display. If someone shows weakness, the others pounce on them or ostracize them. And when they think they are superior to others, they become exceedingly cruel. To me, there is a dark side to the Ark.
We haven't known each other for too long, but I imagine not much like those people you just described.
No, because I don't want the same things in life that they do.
There must be a lot of people who feel the same as you do.
Maybe, but I find, being honest, what makes me so different. I'm just like them, another nobody trapped inside the Ark who can't do anything about it.
I think I understand now. It is just an ordinary living space like any other. There are positive and negative aspects. Any place filled with enough people is naturally going to end up being like that, don't you think?
I guess so.
So do you think the Ark has value? Come on, don't clam up on me now. Do you think the Ark is worth risking our lives to protect? Is it worth continuing to fight for?
Go on. Answer her, honeys. Yes. It has value. It has its merits and also its dark side. But it's the place we live in, which we call home. That alone makes it worth protecting. Your accomplishments have not been in vain. You protected something valuable. And we're doing the very same thing.
Great. I'm glad to hear that. The sound of wood burning in the bonfire is all that can be heard. Redhood sits looking into the firelight, her face illuminated by the dancing flames. The flickering of the fire renders her expression somewhat inscrutable, but I think she is smiling. Even though I'm here only because I borrowed Vapi's body, I'm still glad this is how it panned out. I've cleared up a lot of things. Sorry, but I need a few minutes to myself. Redhood slowly gets up and starts walking off.
You should go and talk to her, Commander.
Okay, I'll be right back. I stand and try to catch up to Redhood. What's on your mind? Nothing in particular. Just how, despite everything that's happened, I finally did it, and how I should feel relieved, something like that. But I'd still... No, nothing. Snow White has become an avid survivalist who's willing to eat almost anything. Oh. She doesn't talk much, and she's a bit rough about the edges, but she's extremely reliable. Hold up, handsome. Let's not talk about... She's saved my life on several occasions. She's a natural leader, someone who makes you feel safe when she's around. You mean Snow? That little twerp, huh? No kidding. Rapunzel is tender and kind, although she's extremely perverted. But her jokes can cross the line on occasion. What jokes? Of a salacious nature. Haha. So she came over to the dark side after all. I knew it. She's got a real knack for it, doesn't she? Scarlet has become a full-blown boozehead hound. Her, that adrenaline junkie. She loves nothing more than to sit under the moon with a nice stiff drink. She also does farm work. What's that all about? She practically sounds like a hipster. When did she get into all that? I don't know how any of them were in the past. But I think they all made these changes in order to live better lives in the here and now. Yeah. Are they happy? Yes, they're all good. That's great. I miss them a lot. I really do. What I'd give to see them, even once. Uh-huh. Should I try to contact them? You can do that. I can't guarantee that it'll succeed, but I can certainly try. No, forget it. I think it's better not to. It could cause my resolve to waver. Don't you want to see them? More than anything. But I won't do that. I know better than anyone how good it is to be alive. So I have to make sure Vapi lives on. Vapi is learning how to enrich her life, and she'll live on. My life has been colorful enough already. Vapi deserves a fair shake at getting to experience the joys of life, doesn't she? Yes, she does, thank you. What are you thanking me for? The same goes for you, handsome. You need to live on. It's good to be alive. Sure. I will. That is all of Redhood's bond. And with that, I'm going to be ending this episode here. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys the next one with whatever the next event is going to be. So until then, I will see you guys later.